Good day everyone, my name is MONEETHAA, daughter of MUNIANDY, metric number 275594, and I want to explain about the introduction part. The first is background of the study. Stress is assumed as the form of psychotic symptoms, anxiety, cardiovascular disease, and other serious disorders. When surrounded by tons of duties, students might feel disoriented, burdened, stuck, or unable to manage the situation. A heavy workload filled with academics and extracurriculars would have a serious effect on students' physical and mental health. Emergence of this COVID-19 pandemic, students are tied up to drastic changes in their lifestyles as increasing academic pressures and additional duties among them. To stay alert, students must understand the concept of establishing effective stress management techniques throughout their university life. And the second one is problem of the statement. According to the founder of stress theory, Hans Seal, stress in terms of the body psychological state of any tension created on something. Based on the study done at a public university, IPCA, the adjustment issues experience of fresh graduates. The purpose of this study is to determine the stress management and its impact on perceived level of stress in SQS students. The third one is objective. The objective is to evaluate the amount of stress faced by SQS students, measure the factors that cause stress among SQS students, identify the effect of stress on coping with their educational excellence, and the last one is how SQS students overcome exam and grade stress in their daily life. The fourth one is significance of the study. The significance gives out the overview for students' stress-free lifestyle of living in their university life. And the last one is scope of study. Undergraduates from the School of Quantitative Sciences, SQS of UUM, answered the questionnaires distributed via Google Forms. We targeted random students as SQS as a respondents. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is FARZANA, matrix number 279411. I will present about the methodology. First is the sampling technique that being used in this study, which is stratified random sampling. We take a list of students from School of Quantitative Science from University Utara Malaysia as the sampling frame. For this sampling technique, the first thing that we did is divide the population into 3 strata. Then we pick samples from each of the 3 strata to combine into one sample study. Next, for the sample size, we use a total of 30 respondents for this study with 15 students from decision science, 8 from business mathematics, and 7 from industrial statistics. We use the formula Nj equal to capital Nj over capital N times N to calculate the sample from each stratum, then combine every sample into one sample study. Then the alternative sampling technique that can be used other than stratified random sampling are simple random sample. The advantages of using this sample technique are we able to choose the sample without being biased. Also, compared to other sampling technique, simple random sample are usually less complicated. However, the sampling technique is time consuming to obtain all the data of the population, and it also tend to produce bigger bound on the error of the same sample compared to stratified random sampling. The questionnaire that being used for this study was made through Google Form with 2 sections, which are demography section and question about cause of stress section. Finally is the data collection method. For this study, the data is taken in the form of quantitative data, and statistical method are being used to analyze the variables. The type of sampling technique that we use are probability sampling, which is stratified random sampling, and the type of data are primary data, and this is an observational study.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is IZZAH binti AZMI and my metric number is 280114. So for literature review, stress that involve a person's physiological and psychological response frequently affected students due to the challenges and demand faced by them. The challenges come from their academic performance along with their personal life problems. Many studies highlight that academic is a serious factor leading to stress. This might be because of high parental expectation, as they are afraid of academic performance criticism from their parents. Academic stressor includes attending lesson, high workload, meeting deadlines, economic issue, and balancing private life and university life. But there is studies stated that the most common stressors are interpersonal and environmental in doing new responsibility, making new friends, working with unknown people, and unfamiliar environment. Every student will face stress at some point of their life, but it differs for every student, as some might feel more stressed out compared to others, and it also depends on how efficiently they handle the stress. Therefore, in this study, we decided to adopt factor analysis assessment that will help to determine the causes of stress among university students. If we are able to aware of the stressors that are affecting the students, we could maintain a good environment that induce the positive thinking concept among themselves.
My name is SUKHAMI and my tag number is 277979. I will talk about result and discussion. We use three statistical methods, which is simple percentage method, chi-square test, and t-test to analyze data. The first method is simple percentage. We use it to analyze the data that collected from the questionnaire. There is an example shown by the table. For the percentage of mu, we use the frequency of mu, which is 11, to divide 30 and multiple 100%. So we can get 36.67 of mu respondents participate in this data. This method is to know how many respondents gave a particular answer. After that, we use chi-square test to test between year of study, age, gender, and courses if stress factor is association or not. We use one of the stress factor, which is lack of support, to test. From the table, we can see p-value of year of study, age, gender, and courses are higher than 0.05. From the result, we can conclude that there is no association of year of study, age, gender, and courses with stress factor. For the last method is t-test. We use it to test between gender and stress factor is significant or not. After using Excel to analyze the data, the table shows the p-value of increased class workload, examination, and stress on understanding subjects are higher than 0.05. In conclusion, there is no significance between gender and stress factor.
As a conclusion, stratified sampling is a suitable sampling method for our research because this sampling method is capable of capturing the key population characteristics within the sample. Besides, it also reflects on the population more accurately and has a smaller bound of error. However, the drawback of this sampling method is that it has higher complexity and it consumes more time compared to the other sampling methods. From the study, it can be seen that majority of the students get stressed frequently during their study in their respective courses. Hence, almost all of the students allocate time to relieve stress. As for the source of their stress, the increased workload, examination, and the struggle to keep up with the new subjects are the main culprits here. To overcome these issues, several steps can be taken. Nowadays, hybrid teaching method where online and physical classes coexist has become the norm. Lecturers can upload their teaching materials a few days or even weeks ahead of their classes through specified channels. This initiative allows the student to go through the notes before the class and have a basic understanding of the upcoming class, and allowing them to have an easier time digesting the information during class. Other than that, there should be a good balance between the student's study hour and the workload so the students can achieve balance in both their study and daily lives. What the lecturer could do is that the lecturer could provide opportunities for the students to work on their tasks or assignment during lecture hours if the workload is massive. This will give the students some room to breathe and let them focus on other important things in life. With both of these issues taken care of, the students will be able to tackle the examinations with confidence. Next, let's talk about the limitations of our study. So one of the major limitations in our study come from the usage of questionnaires as our main method to acquire data. Most people would like to spend as little time as possible on things that are less relevant or completely irrelevant to them. So with that in mind, some of the data we acquire may be inaccurate because the respondents fill in the answers without giving it too much thought. So this may undermine our reliability of the data set. As for the suggestions, there are multiple approaches to overcome this limitation, one of them being providing a certain form of incentive to the respondents who are filling out our questionnaires. This will attract the attention of the respondents as they have something to gain from filling in the questionnaire properly, so they will not go through it hastily. The other approach is to choose a different method to acquire our data, such as interviews. People tend to provide more accurate or honest answers when there is an active interactions from both sides, from between us and the respondents. The drawback of these two approaches, however, is that they are more costly and they consume more time. Thank you.